Love is hard, but not in the way people usually talk about it, but in the way that it can quietly change you. And in my few years on being on this planet, I've learned many things about this word. Some things I've learned the hard way, and some just happened without me even realizing it. But the one thing about love is that it is one of those things that we all humans apparently need at some point in our lives. Now, although love may cause pain, but it also provides the latter, which is feeling true happiness. And some of the things that I may say in this video may come off as blunt, or even come off as harsh sometimes, but I would really think if I knew these earlier in my life, I would have saved myself a lot of hardships along the way. Now, to preface, I believe it is still super important to go through hardships in life, especially at a younger age, because having the opportunity to experience these feelings firsthand will actually be your best teacher, believe it or not. And besides, no matter how much advice someone offers you about this topic, when this word hits you, I can promise you that all logic that you've learned so far goes straight out that window. And I can vouch for that. Why, you may ask? Because I was once in that position as well. And so with that, let's get started. So the first advice I would give to my younger self is that love isn't just romantic. And for the longest time, the word love, especially nowadays, seems to only be portrayed in romantic settings. And whether it's the content you consumed on your phone and that one romantic movie you watched the other night that got your lonely butt smiling, love only seems to be portrayed in relationships, and romantic ones at that. But love is actually more than that. Love can be defined in so much ways in life. Love can be shown in your passions, your platonic relationships, such as your friendships, and in my opinion, or at least what I've recently started to truly understand, is through my own family. And as much as I would like to say I focused on these things while growing up, but in reality, I really didn't. You see, I solely focused on the word love through a romantic lens, and this has to be one of my biggest learning points with this word. And you see, I'm currently single at the moment, and us single guys know when 10 p.m. hits on some of these nights, you really begin to face those demons. The immense dread that all of us know when trying to sleep in bed, alone and again. And this vicious cycle of, will I ever find someone? Or am I even good enough to have someone? And one night in particular made me realize this. If we look at the word love in a broader spectrum, it can actually make a very big difference. And why, you may ask? Well, if you broaden your idea about love, it actually covers so many more areas in your life besides just the romantic ones. And don't get me wrong, it would be really nice to have someone to wake up to every morning. But if you're feeling alone, I want you to try this. Think of 3 people in your life you're grateful for. Shoot, if you can't think of 3, think of 1 person. And if you can't think of 1 person, think about something that you enjoy doing, and just reflect how much of an impact that person or thing has made in your life. And boom. Just like magic, you unlocked another layer in this complex word. Because yes, maybe in a romantic sense, we are missing love. But you also have to realize that you receive love in different aspects in your life. And fortunately enough, I was able to be born in a family that truly cares about me. So the 3 people I always go to first are both my parents and my older brother. And the more you're able to reflect on these pillars in your life, you'll actually start to notice that you're actually not as alone as you think you are. There are currently 8.3 billion people on this earth, and there is at least 1 person that loves you more than you'll ever know. The second advice I would give to myself is basically the ability to differentiate what true love actually means. Love nowadays is perceived as someone giving you flowers, going on cute little dates, or even giving thoughtful gifts. And don't get me wrong, these are all great signs of showing you love someone. And if you really do, 100% do these things. But what I'm trying to get at is that true love should be unconditional. Most of the things I've said in the beginning probably had conditions to why you decided to do them. It was either a special day, like an anniversary or a first date, but where true love really stems from is actually during the times where you least expect them. Real, genuine love comes from no conditions. There are so many things that made us believe that love has to look or be done a specific way. But if you really think about it, unconditional love is its most purest form. It's where you know that no matter what you do, that one person in your life will take you for who you are. No amount of flowers, gifts, or money will change their feelings for you. And the easiest way I can explain it, and once you find that person, you'll understand what I'm saying. That person becomes your safe space. You're able to confide in them. You'll know that that person will be there for you, not only on your greatest wins, but comfort you through all your losses as well. And you know, no matter who that person may be, you will be able to definitely say that they are your home. And just like after a long and grueling day, either at school or work, you know that moment when you get home, you begin to feel that sense of relief and happiness that you know that you're back in a space where you feel truly safe. You're able to drop all your barriers, unblock all the pent-up emotions that you had throughout the day without the fear of being judged for looking weak or frail. And this is what I believe true love is defined as. And just like I said in the last part, this doesn't have to be a romantic partner. This can be a person in your life that you know that will have your back no matter what. And the last piece of advice I would give to myself is to not give 100% of yourself. I know, right? It sounds pretty off, doesn't it? And with how hustle culture has defined its way into our cultures nowadays, this advice completely contradicts that. But let me explain. From the time I can remember, we were always instilled to always give 100 or even 110% to whatever we put our minds to. And as great as that sounds, I promise you, this is one of the things I really had to learn the hard way. The idea of all-inning is quite flawed, and you may ask why. I want you to look at it this way. I'll give you 3 examples that explains this. One through a financial responsible lens, one in a degenerate lens, and one for an emotional lens. So let's get started with the first lens, the financial one. So picture this. If you decide to invest all your savings into one stock, no matter how much research you put in prior to investing it, if you decide to put all that money into that one stock and unfortunately that stock the next day crashed to zero, you basically destroyed yourself financially. And the reason why this happened is because instead of spreading out your savings, you jammed it all into one area expecting growth. It's like trying to balance a stick on its own. Try it. Let me know how difficult it is. But if you decide to use multiple sticks, next thing you know, you're qualified to be an architect because it makes it exponentially so much easier. And if you know one of those sticks breaks, your structure is still safe and won't collapse because you have more sticks holding up your building. Now, this next example is for all my degenerate boys out there. And if the finance one didn't make too much sense or you couldn't relate it to it as much, I have a feeling you'll relate to this one. So I've dabbled in my fair share at casinos, and in my time in casinos, you probably all know that mindset of either all-inning at a blackjack table or a roulette table. And before I continue talking, I want to specifically say that I don't condone anyone to frequently go to casinos unless you have the money to burn. And with that side note, let's get back to the topic at hand. So all-inning at a casino. In the spur of the moment, it almost feels super exhilarating to jam all your funds into black for the possibility of doubling up. And again, this is sweet and all if you do win, but I promise you, in most cases, you won't. And if you decide to go with a couple buddies to the casino, if you lose your first hand or first spin with all your money, now for the rest of the evening, you're just gonna have to sit back and watch all your friends play. Or even worse, you let FOMO kick in and you withdraw more money, and that's where it can get quite dangerous. And don't ask me why I know, I just do. Trust me. So, all these concepts follow the same principle with love. If somehow you find the one, the love of your life, the one you have been searching for so long, and that this person can't do no wrong, and you decided to put everything towards that person, and then the next thing you know, that person wasn't actually perfect. And I want to make things clear right now. No one in this world is perfect. And as much as social media portrays people's lives in a perfect light, I promise you that there are things those people are going through as well. But that's the nice thing with social media. You're able to pick and choose what you want the world to know. So take what you consume with a grain of salt. So to finish up this portion, yes, put in the effort, but do not give 100% of yourself to one person. Because the moment something happens, you'll come to the realization that in the process of giving everything to that one person, you'll begin to lose yourself in the process. And this, I promise you, is one of the hardest pits to climb out from. And if you watched my previous video, you'll understand why I'm adamant about this. Because it can get really dark really fast. And I really don't want any of you to experience this. But if you did or are currently going through one, just know that it will get better. I promise. Just don't give up, because at the end of the day, losing only happens to those who give up. So chin up, soldier, and hit the gym. And so with that, thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to watch the previous video on the screen right now to see what mistakes I've been through and possibly learn from them. And if you see anything on this video that resonated with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments. But until then, stay true, stay pushing, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.